Hello folks, J. Scott Phillips here, and today we are bound for a little trouble, I'm afraid. At least I feel like I'm getting myself in trouble here with falling behind on my booktube habits. And it's been several weeks since I got a video up there. It was early in June on the Range. I did one Western video. I had ideas and plans and had read a few more Westerns. Wanted to talk about a couple of those. Just trying to circle the wagons around that. Never happened by the end of June. And now it's happening again in July. We're already well into Rocket Summer, which is Michael K. Vaughan's event to get us to be reading and chatting about vintage science fiction, one of my favorite genres of all time. Not to mention, we're in the middle of the Wrath of the Summer of Trek, reading Star Trek fiction, another one of my favorite. Well, I guess it's a subgenre of the other one. But I've got ideas for Rocket Summer and Summer of Trek. I'm going to get to them. I just got to get back in the saddle, I guess, to make another Western reference there. And so today is Tag Tuesday, at least for another couple minutes. It'll be Wednesday before I get this posted, but I thought I would do a quick book tag here and try to dust the cobwebs off and do some of my booktube stretching exercises maybe, and kind of get back into the swing of things here. So I am going to be doing the It Isn't That Bad book tag. And I'm afraid in my case it is that bad. This is about how we handle and take care of our books. And I just came across this book tag today. I was not tagged in it, but it was posted several days ago, I think, by Angelia at Read and Reread. Or it might be Read and Reread. I'm not sure the tense of that. But Angelia posted this, and it was originally created by Melinda at A Web of Stories. And I'll leave links to both of their channels down below. And it is a series of 10 questions or 10 prompts about how we handle and take care of our books. So this is a little embarrassing in some cases here, but let's just launch into it. The prompt number 1 is, do you dog-ear your books? And I have dog-eared books if I didn't have a handy bookmark. I tend not to. I usually have a bookmark that I'll put in there. And so I don't usually intentionally dog-ear a book. Although, and we'll get to this in another question, so I guess I'll just hold on to it here. The second prompt is, do you annotate your books? And I don't really annotate them. I don't write in the margins or things. I have done things with certain books that I wanted to keep track of. This is just one of the little reading habits I have, where I try to keep track of how much time elapses in a particular story. And I used to keep a handy little red pen that I would just put a little dot in the margin next to a line where it indicated how much time has been passing. So I could keep track of how many days, when a day starts and when a day ends, or if a week goes by, excuse me, that kind of thing. And I guess that's a type of annotation, but it's pretty subtle. I've got an example here of one thing that I was doing for a little while, and I just kind of got sick of it. And that was, this is an old copy of The Time Machine, one of my favorite books here. I was using these book darts, they're called. They're these little metal things that grab onto the edge of pages that can point to things. And when you have a book with several things that you see it, the reflection there maybe, they kind of light up and you can find where pages are that you had something that you wanted to remember. But they became kind of unwieldy. You have to have this little tin of them handy, and they stick together. They're kind of flat. Sorry about that, folks. I got a little coughing jag going there as I'm talking. I get a little dry hitch in my throat when I'm talking nonstop like this. So I may have to pause from time to time for a little throat clearing. So excuse me for that. But these, as I was saying, these book darts here, I thought they were great when I first started using them, when I first found out about them. They can, they point to one side of the page or the other. You've got to put them on up and down the columns here. On paperback books, they cut way into the type usually. They're probably made for larger hardback books, but I didn't care. I was using them for anything. But they just got to be so clunky that I quit using them, and I switched over to using the old, just these little tape tabs. This is a book I did for June on the Range here, Nevada. And so now when I do that kind of a thing, I use these little flags here that are transparent, so they don't really cover up too much of the copy on a paperback. And they're handier to use, I think. They're still a little unwieldy. I usually don't like to have to annotate things in books, but if I'm reading a book to do a booktube video, I want to keep track of things. But I've never been one to actually write notes about things, at least in margins in books. Prompt number 3, do you roll covers or break spines when you read? And this is why I said I might be getting in trouble, at least with some of you here, and I do that. I used to be very particular about taking care of just the pristine quality of any book I read. It was just too compulsive when I was a kid. And if a book that I was reading or that I owned got a little mar or a ding on it or something, it just bothered me so much. And one day I couldn't take it anymore, and all that went away. And I just said, to hell with that. I can't worry about this anymore. I'm not enjoying books. I'm just too particular about the care and feeding of this book that I'm going to be handling and carrying with me and stuff. And once I stopped worrying about that, just a huge weight off my shoulders. And now I've kind of gone the other way, where just use Nevada again here as an example of a recent book that I've read, that this was in pretty good shape when I first started reading it. But you can see that now the spine is well curled up. As I was reading it, I never worry about bending it back like that to read it handy like that. I'll put it in my back pocket if I'm going out somewhere, so I've got a book handy. And then I wind up sitting on it somewhere. It gets dinged up pretty well. Also the book. This is a pretty much of an older paperback here, so the paper covers gets kind of dry. And I thought nothing at all about taking some packing tape and just, I don't know if you can even see it here, but just to secure that around the spine and down the back. I know it's going to drive a lot of you crazy to ever treat a book like that. It's not archival in any way. I didn't worry about reinforcing it on the inside. This book is solid now. I can keep reading this book many more times. It will hold up well, and I don't mind adding more tape to it if I need to either. I'm not keeping it as a collector's item, although I like the cover art. But it doesn't bother me. I kind of think of books like that I enjoy reading and that I take with me and carry around as I continue reading the book and whatever is going on in life, that the book goes through life with me while I'm reading it. And it kind of becomes a friend, a companion. And so if the book shows the wear and tear of that companionship, so be it. It's generally books like this in my library, if you've seen them beat up and dinged up like that, it's not because I don't care about them. It's because I particularly love them. So if you have a problem with that, you're just going to have to deal with it. That's my take on paperbacks in particular. However, I will say that hardbacks that I go back to over and over again, for instance, like this is a book of Kipling's verse. And I've had this probably for 50 years, and it's fallen apart, and it's got pages that are kind of hanging out, and it's not in the best of shape at all. It's lost its cover, or its dust jacket, rather. Since I've gotten a new, or at least a better condition of copy, just so I have a nice, solid, fresh copy that's not falling apart with dust jacket and all. But I can't bear to part with this poor old thing here. So this remains an essential on my bookshelf, and I will probably never let go of this thing, even though I've got a much fresher edition here in much better shape. Because this poor old beat up thing, I love that book, and I'm not going to get rid of it, and I'm not going to quit reading it. So there, you got to deal with that. So, prompt number 4. Do you listen to something while you read? Often I do, often I don't. But for instance, June on the Range, while I was reading Westerns, I've got a lot of Western, mostly movie scores that I have put together a playlist that I'll play while I'm reading a Western. Put it on low so it doesn't distract me too much, but it kind of helps to set the mood. I started doing that when I was in high school, I think, or junior high. I guess I was in junior high when 2001 A Space Odyssey came out, the movie. And I was reading the book, and I had the little cassette of the soundtrack from that movie that I played while I was reading that book. And to me, it just enhanced the reading experience. Has to be music that is somehow matches what I'm reading, though. And sometimes I will put on just general background music or something, usually not to add to the reading experience, but I have neighbors next door that have 3 kids, and they're off in the backyard playing baseball, and they're making a lot of noise, and so I'll put some music on just to kind of drown that out while I'm sitting out here reading. So yeah, I do listen to music sometimes, but it's not something I need to do in order to read. Excuse me. Prompt number 5, do you read in the bathroom? I sometimes do, but I usually don't like to spend a lot of time sitting in there. I know many do. There was a Seinfeld episode, I think, where George was trying to return a book that they wouldn't take it back because they could somehow tell that it'd been taken into the bathroom, so they wouldn't take the book back from him. But I have taken books in there from time to time, but it's not a typical habit of mine. And then prompt number 6 is related to this. Do you read in water, such as in the bathtub, in a pool, etc.? I do not do that. And even though I'm pretty rough on my books sometimes, I'm not going to want to get it wet or drop it in the water or anything that would just dissolve the book or ruin the book in some way like that. That I won't do. Prompt number 7, do you DNF? Not intentionally. I will often be reading a book and set it down for days, and then sometimes will grow into weeks. But I'm not meaning to not finish it. I'm just setting it aside, and often it winds up that I don't finish it, just because I've lost the thread of it. And then if I do pick it up again, I'm going to start it all over again. But I won't really bail on a book because I'm not enjoying it often. There are exceptions, but it's not a habit of mine, really. Prompt number 8, do you ever read ahead or skip to the end of a book? I don't do that. I do something that might be kind of akin to that. I will like to kind of pace out my reading. So if I'm sitting down for a little reading session here and I feel like, oh, I don't have that much time left here, I might start skipping ahead just to see where there's a chapter break or something to kind of time myself. If I can just get to that point, then I can set the book down at a good spot and pick it up again later. But I don't skip ahead or read further into the book to find out what's happening. I will never do that. So then prompt number 9, are you book-polygamous? That is, read more than one book at a time. Well, typically not. I tend always to have probably get the most out of reading a book at a time, one book at a time, and I focus on, I'm just reading that book start to finish, and then I will move on to the next one. However, I guess if a cute little book comes along off to the side or something and winks at me, and I think, oh, that looks a little interesting, I might dally a little bit and be reading another book on the side. For instance, all these books I am reading one by one here now, the Westerns and the science fiction and all that through these booktube events, but I'm also try to read about a chapter a day here or so of SPQR. And I've only gotten this far in it here so far. It's only 3 chapters, but and I'm not reading it every day. But this I'm reading kind of parallel to any other books that I'm reading. I'll pick it up for a little while and take bites out of it. And then once that's done, I'll probably pick up some other. It's usually nonfiction what I'm doing. If I'm reading a series of or a number of fiction books in a row, the little book on the side that I'm kind of cheating on the other ones with will probably be something nonfiction that that way I usually don't have to, if I set it down for a few days or maybe even a week or something, I don't have to worry about remembering the thread of a narrative going on as much with nonfiction. I can pick it up as it goes. Prompt number 10, do you own more books than bookshelf space? Well, that depends how you look at it. At the moment, I have bookshelf space that I have to stack books up on tables where I'm organizing them. I've got another table where I'm organizing books that I'm going to get rid of. And I don't have, until I can do that, I don't have shelf space to put them on. However, I have a bar in the house that I'm removing. The bar is going away, and I'm going to use that wall space there where the back bar is now to put 5 or 6 bookcases along that wall. And some of those bookcases I have assembled in kind of a place holding in the hallway so I can get some books up off the floor and off those tables and at least organized, but that's not a permanent spot for those bookshelves. And I've got other bookshelves that I still have to put together, and then those are all gonna go along that one wall where the back bar is now. And then I should have enough bookshelves and then some for the number of books that I have. So it's gotten out of hand, folks, and I'm trying to take care of that. And I'm also trying to get rid of probably a whole wall's worth of books here over the next few weeks. And so that's kind of hard to let go of some of them sometimes, but you got to do what you got to do sometimes. And now, there is a bonus prompt. Do you ever take a book without leaving a book at a little free library? I guess I don't do that. I usually have a little box or stack of paperbacks, at least, that I may have duplicates of, or that I'm going to be unloading at a used bookstore or something. And if I come across a little free library, I might, rather than make the trip to the used bookstore to get rid of them, I might leave them in the little box there for the little free library. I don't go out and find or come across little free libraries very often. Every once in a while, they're scattered all around here. There's a lot of them around, but they're all 2 or 3 miles apart, and they're not on any kind of a walking route that I ever go on. So I'll have to go out and kind of take a little tour of the little the little birdhouses that they look like to me. And then if I find a book, I'll leave a book. I won't just go and take a book out there and not replenish it if I can. And that is it. So trying to get back in the habit here. I feel like I was rambling a little bit, but there's a lot to say, and I haven't done one of these book tags in quite a while. And now I am going to tag a few other booktubers that are kind of in this same neighborhood of a booktube, and maybe we can get this tag going in this area here. So I am going to tag Mystery and Mayhem, Jim over at Mystery and Mayhem, and see how he takes care of his books and handles them. I also want to tag Randy Ray, who has been absent from BookTube for some personal reasons here, and I know he's going to get to doing some videos when he can. So Randy, whenever you are able to get back to doing some videos, maybe this will be a fun one to do, and so I'll just leave this out here. Get to it when you can. And then I want to tag the Book Buds, Joe and Mary, the Book Buds, over at their channel. And then I will tag Brandy, the Book Eclectic, and I know I haven't seen much of her lately here. Maybe this will be a simple little one that she can dash off, like I'm trying to do. Then Michael K. Vaughn. I will tag you, Michael, and see if you have time to squeeze one of these in here, or maybe if you can't, maybe Roger can cover it for you. He's probably got some books that are needing some tender, loving care, perhaps. And then who else have I got here? Oh, and then I want to tag Steve Donahue because he will often say that people don't tag him because he's a leper, he's a pariah. Although Steve, I'll tag you if you want to do the tag, but I also realize that these questions here you've answered many times over on your channel anyway, so it might feel kind of redundant, so don't worry about it either way. But just so that you don't feel like you're a leper, a pariah all the time, consider yourself tagged and then do with it as you will. And I guess that's it. There you have it. There's my first book tag in a long time. I'll try to do some other book tags from time to time just to keep my my hat in the ring. And until we get a chance to chat again, which will hopefully be soon with some Rocket Summer and some Book Trek and maybe some other things here pretty soon, thanks for watching.